You're a burden, Mom. You're just a burden, Mom. I pay for everything. Your rent, your bills. Marcus shouted, his face red with anger. The restaurant was empty except for us. I stood near the bar, my hands clenched together. My name is Olivia Bennett. I'm 58 years old, and today my own son was kicking me out of his restaurant, or at least, the restaurant he thought was his. I can't keep taking care of you while you pretend to help here, Marcus said. Sarah's right. You're just in the way. He ran his hands through his hair, just like his father used to do. We need to cut costs, and your rent is the first thing to go. I glanced at Sarah, my daughter-in-law, standing in the corner with a smug smile. She had been trying to push me out since she married Marcus 3 years ago. You're too involved in his life, she would say. A man needs space to grow. What neither of them knew was that I owned this building and half the block. Marcus's restaurant? It ran under my property, but he believed a company called OB Properties owned it. I understand, I said quietly, picking up my worn leather handbag. I'll move out by the end of the month. Marcus hesitated. I'll help you find something smaller, maybe a senior living community. I was only 58, far from retirement age. But I stayed quiet, thinking about the large Victorian house I had just finished renovating. Don't worry about me, dear. I'll manage. After my husband died, I used his insurance money to invest in real estate. While Marcus was in college, I built a small empire. The apartment Marcus thought he was paying for. I own that building too. His rent checks had been going straight into a savings account for his children's future. Sarah smirked. This is good for you, Marcus. You need to be independent. Independent. That word echoed in my mind. After Tom's death, I had worked 3 jobs, learned everything about real estate, and made sure Marcus never struggled. I'll get my things tomorrow, I said, walking toward the door. Good luck with the restaurant. Mom, Marcus called, his voice softer now. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I looked around one last time. The brick walls I had restored, the hardwood floors I had refinished, the antique bar I had imported from Ireland. Everything I had done to make his dream come true. I'm not making it hard, Marcus. I'm just stepping aside. I pushed open the door and left. In my car, I pulled out my phone and called my lawyer. It's time, I said. Are you sure? The property tax bills go out next week. He's going to find out. I know. Send the notice tomorrow. I didn't drive to the tiny apartment Marcus thought I lived in. I went home to my beautiful Victorian house in Beacon Hill. As I stepped inside, I looked at the elegant space I had built, filled with high ceilings, modern touches, and a view of the city I had quietly conquered. Sitting in my study, I checked my property management system. The restaurant was just one of the 37 buildings I owned in Boston. Marcus thought I was struggling, but he had no idea his mother was one of the city's top real estate investors. Tomorrow he would learn the truth. A notice from OB Properties would arrive, introducing the new property manager. Me. I poured myself a glass of wine and stepped onto my balcony, watching the sun set. Sometimes love means letting your children make their own mistakes, and sometimes it means showing them the truth when they're ready. Was Marcus ready to see who I really was? Only time would tell. The next morning, I dressed carefully in one of my tailored business suits, an outfit Marcus and Sarah had never seen me wear. For years, I'd maintained my image as the modest, somewhat struggling mother, wearing simple clothes while helping at the restaurant. Today was different. I had a meeting with my property management team at 9 a.m., reviewing plans for several building renovations. By 10:30, Michael called. The notice has been delivered to the restaurant, he said. Are you ready for this? I took a deep breath. I've been ready for 15 years. Around noon, my phone started buzzing. Marcus's name flashed on the screen repeatedly, followed by a barrage of texts. Mom, what's going on? Did you know about this? The landlord is coming to meet us today. Where are you? We need your help. I let them go unanswered. At precisely 2 p.m., I walked into the restaurant, my heels clicking against the hardwood floors I'd restored years ago. Marcus and Sarah stood by the bar, paperwork scattered in front of them, their faces pale with worry. Mom? Marcus looked up, confused by my appearance. What are you doing here? And why are you dressed like that? Good afternoon, Marcus, Sarah, I said calmly, placing my briefcase on the bar. I believe you received a notice about meeting your landlord today. Sarah's eyes narrowed. We don't have time for this. We're about to meet with OB Properties. They're sending someone to discuss the lease. Actually, I said, pulling out a folder, OB Properties is already here. I handed them my business card, Olivia Bennett, CEO of OB Properties LLC. The silence that followed was deafening. Marcus stared at the card, then at me, his face cycling through confusion, disbelief, and shock. This isn't possible, Sarah whispered, grabbing the card from Marcus's hands. You live in that tiny apartment. Marcus pays your rent. I smiled, sitting down at the bar. No, Sarah. Marcus sends money every month, which goes directly into a trust fund for any future grandchildren. I own that apartment building, just like I own this one and many others. Marcus sank onto a bar stool, his legs seemingly unable to hold him up. All this time, the mysterious landlord who gave me such a good deal on the lease was me, I finished. I bought this building when you were still in culinary school. I renovated it specifically with your dream restaurant in mind. But why didn't you tell me? His voice cracked slightly. I looked at my son, really looked at him. Because you needed to believe you did this on your own. You needed to build your confidence, your skills. I just provided the foundation. Everything else, the success of this restaurant, that's all you. Sarah wasn't taking it as well. You've been lying to us, making us think you needed our help, letting us believe. I never said I needed help, I interrupted quietly. You both assumed that. You saw what you wanted to see, a widow struggling to get by. Never once did you ask about my life, my work, or how I spent my days. Marcus ran his hands through his hair again, that familiar gesture now tinged with regret. The apartment, the bills we've been paying. All going towards your children's future, I confirmed. I've been saving it, along with matching contributions of my own. By the time you have kids, their education will be fully funded. Yesterday, he started, his face flushing with shame. What I said to you was hurtful, I acknowledged, but may be necessary. It's time you knew the truth about your mother, Marcus. I'm not the burden you think I am. I'm a businesswoman who spent 15 years building something significant. I opened my briefcase and pulled out more documents, proof of my property holdings, investment portfolios, and the trust fund statements. As Marcus and Sarah looked through them, their hands trembling slightly, I could see their worldview shifting. All those evenings you spent helping around here, Marcus said slowly. You were actually checking on your investment, weren't you? I was spending time with my son. I corrected him. The fact that I owned the building was secondary. Everything I've done has been to secure your future, to give you a foundation to build your dreams on. Sarah sat down heavily, the papers clutched in her hands. The property taxes alone on this building are more than the restaurant's monthly revenue, I finished. Why did you think the rent was so reasonable? I wanted you to have a chance to succeed, Marcus. I just needed to do it in a way that let you feel independent. The next few weeks brought dramatic changes to our family dynamics. Marcus insisted I move into the owner's apartment above the restaurant, a space I'd kept vacant for years. It's yours anyway, he said, his voice carrying a new hint of respect. And I'd like you closer. I kept my Victorian home, but found myself spending more evenings at the restaurant, this time openly sharing my business knowledge with Marcus. Sarah, surprisingly, was the one who sought me out most often. I can't believe I was so wrong about you, she'd admitted one evening as we sat going through the restaurant's books. All this time, I thought you were clinging to Marcus, but you were actually supporting us in ways we never knew. Sometimes love means stepping back, I said, showing her how to better organize their financial records, even when you have the power to step in. The restaurant staff, who'd always liked me as the helpful mom, were amazed to discover I was actually the property owner. Maria, our head waitress of 5 years, laughed when she found out. I always wondered why you knew so much about the building's history. 1 month after the revelation, Marcus called a family meeting. He and Sarah sat across from me in the restaurant's private dining room, looking nervous but determined. Mom, Marcus started, we've been doing a lot of thinking. I was horrible to you and I'm sorry. But more than that, I'm grateful. You could have stopped me at any time, shown me the truth, made me feel foolish for my assumptions. Instead, you let me learn and grow. Sarah reached for his hand. We've been talking about the future. About family. She touched her stomach gently, and my heart leaped. We're having a baby. Tears welled in my eyes. That's wonderful news. There's more, Marcus continued. We want you involved, really involved. Not just as a grandmother, but as a mentor. I've seen your business records now, Mom. What you've built, it's incredible. We want to learn from you. I looked at them both, seeing the genuine change in their attitudes. I'd like that very much. Over the next few months, I watched Marcus and Sarah transform. They became eager students of both business and family. The restaurant thrived under our combined efforts. Marcus's culinary expertise, Sarah's newfound financial acumen, and my business experience. One evening, as I was leaving the restaurant, I overheard Marcus talking to a customer. "See that elegant lady at the bar? That's my mother, one of Boston's most successful business owners. Everything I am, everything I've built is because she believed in me enough to let me find my own way." 6 months later, I held my grandson, Thomas Oliver Bennett, named for both his grandfather and me. As I rocked him in the beautifully restored apartment above the restaurant, I could hear the bustling dinner service below. The sound of success built on truth, trust, and time. "I have something for him," I told Marcus and Sarah, pulling out an envelope. Inside was the trust fund documentation. 15 years of their rent payments, plus my contributions, now designated for little Thomas's future. Sarah wiped away tears. "All this time, you were thinking ahead." "That's what mothers do," I said simply. "We build foundations, even when no one sees us working." Marcus touched the antique bar as he looked around the restaurant. "I always thought this place was my dream come true. Now I realize it was yours first, your dream of giving me mine." "No," I corrected him gently. "My dream was always just to see you happy, successful, and kind. The restaurant was merely the vehicle." Today, OB Properties remains one of Boston's premier real estate companies, but now it's truly a family business. Marcus and Sarah are learning the ropes, preparing to help manage our growing empire while maintaining the restaurant's excellence. Every Sunday, we have family dinner in the private dining room. Sometimes I catch Marcus watching me with a mix of amazement and regret, still processing how wrong he'd been about his struggling mother. But mostly, we focus on the future we're building together, a future founded on truth, understanding, and the kind of love that's strong enough to let go until the time is right to hold on again. As my grandson grows, he'll learn early what it took his father years to understand. That success isn't just about what you build, but about how you build it with patience, wisdom, and enough love to let others find their own way back to you.